Hello and welcome to Business Daily on Trust Television, and we are set to keep you up to speed with developments in the world of business, finance, Nigeria's economy, and the stock market is not left out. I am your host, Christiana Amodu-Otinya. Thank you always for making our time to join us on the program. First, let's begin with the headline we have for today. Containerized goods imports into Nigerian ports grew by 13.1% in 5 years. You get to hear more information on that in the Business Roundup segment of the program. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we go straight to the stock market. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's get straight into the stock market and see what the activity going on there is like. We begin from the local burs in Nigeria. Of course, it's the penultimate day of trading in the week, but for midweek we saw the positive close for the Nigeria exchange, up 0.49%. The oil share index settled at 53,499.68. On the activity chart, a total volume of 200.3 million shares valued at 5.52 billion naira changed hands in 3,716 transactions on the local burs. The equity cap settled at 29.13 trillion naira. So the Nigerian bourse is staying largely bullish. Now let's go over to other African exchanges. We begin from Africa's largest exchange, as the JSC, opening marginally lower, 0.02% there, 79,804. For Ghana, we are seeing positive open, 2.44%, 2,412. Now, in the United States, of course, investors are digesting the comments from the U.S. Federal Reserve, and we are seeing a positive close here for trading midweek, and the market is also giving green lights for what we are seeing for Thursday. In US, the Wall Street opens at about 2:30 p.m. local time in Nigeria. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, the S&P 500, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite all in positive zone, 0.02%, 1.05%, and 2% there, respectively. Now, the Fed raised its benchmark interest rate by a quarter percentage point on Wednesday and gave little indication it is nearing the end of the hiking cycle. In the European Straits, European markets also opened in the green, 0.30% higher there for the FTSE 100 in the UK. The CAC 40 in France is up 0.64%. And in Germany, the DAX surged 0.72% at 15,289.81. Now, the focus for, of course, the European Straits, the Eurozone, is on the policy decisions expected from the European Central Bank that is headed by Christine Lagarde and the Bank of England. So we expect major policy decisions in Europe, and those are some of the decisions that would give cues as to what investors or what the sentiments will look like in the Eurozone. In the Asia-Pacific region, stocks traded mostly higher Thursday as investors digested the U.S. Federal Reserve decision to hike interest rates. In the Nikkei 225 in Japan, up 0.20%. In Shanghai, in mainland China, a marginal climb of 0.02%. And in Kospi, we are seeing a climb of 0.70%, 2,468.88. Over now to commodities prices. Oil prices are still in the positive zone. It's actually a very big sea of green here. So all the arrows are in the green zone. All the arrows are moving northwards for the commodities market, from the Brent crude, the international benchmark for crude oil, to silver, to the bullion, the yellow metal, gold, to agro commodities, wheat, cocoa, palm oil. All are staying largely positive. So the bulls are indeed dominating the commodities market, and we are seeing investors are monitoring what Fed central bankers basically are saying. Interest rates being tightened, central banks staying dovish or hawkish. This is also what a lot of investors are looking at in the market. Now to the cryptocurrency market. We're still seeing a bullish run for cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin $23,803, up 0.55%. Ethereum is at it's up 2.07% at $1,669. And for the Binance coin, $329.09 is up 3.66%. So we are seeing a major bull. The markets are really bullishly bullish this Thursday. Are we going to see this green sentiment continue to end the week and also further into the month of February? Of course, a lot come to play when investors are monitoring macroeconomic parameters around the world. Those are the numbers we have for you from the stock market today. Trust us, always crunch those numbers for you and bring you updates from the stock market. Now, let's give you the business roundup segment.
The volume of imported containerized goods brought into Nigerian seaports has grown by 13.10% in 5 years to 1,009,312 20 food equivalent units TEUs in the past 5 years of 2017 to 2021. According to the port statistics of the Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA), containerized imports which stood at 806,219 TEUs in 2017, 831,314 TEUs in 2018. Similarly, the NPA port statistics show that the export of containerized goods and MTs also grew by 111.13% to 1,020,511 TEUs in 5 years. The breakdown also shows that the containerized export, which stood at 483,357 TEUs in 2017, declined massively by 64.90% to 169,653 TEUs in 2018. The volume further declined by 17.41% to 140,116 TEUs in 2019, grew by 29.47% to 181,406 TEUs in 2020, and by 462% to 1,020,511 TEUs in 2021.
There you have it, the business story. Now, on today's edition of the program, we'll be looking at front row issues currently in the Nigerian economy. And topmost of that list is the scarcity of Naira notes. Interestingly, Nigerians in Nigeria are buying Naira. They are buying in Naira, and this is really an unfortunate situation. A lot of economists, experts have reacted to the situation currently ongoing in the country. There's a whole lot of racketeering going on, especially with Nigerians getting access to the new Naira notes. And the old notes are also scarce. A lot of Nigerians cannot afford to have that, especially as the deadline is by the corner. And the Central Bank of Nigeria has equally extended the deadline for the phase out of the old notes. And there's a whole lot of lamentations going on from Nigerians, those doing business, those going around their daily activities, those that need to purchase foodstuff from the market. Even the traders, on the other hand, are saying we really can't do more than what we have at hand. What is the way forward for the hardship being experienced at this point? Also, there's the Afrigo card that was launched, the new debit card scheme by the Central Bank of Nigeria. I will be joined on the program today by Dr. Aliyu Ilyas. He is a financial analyst, and he will also be wearing his customer experience cap, particularly for the barrage of complaints we have seen on social media as it relates to the banking sector. There are videos coming up on social media, Nigerians also airing their opinions of monies mysteriously disappearing from their bank accounts, and banks are not being as accountable as they would want to hear with regards to what is happening to these monies. So he will be speaking to what is the way forward. How can some sense of sanity be brought back, especially into the banking system? I interacted with a lot of Nigerians even before coming into the studio, and there's a whole lot of customer experience as it relates to what's happening with banking transactions. So these are some of the issues that will be the highlight in the conversation segment of the program today. It promises to be very insightful, so make sure you do not pick up your remote and try to change the channel from Trust Television. The conversation is packed today. I'll hold my horses here and take a short break. When we return, you get to meet my guest and we'll get into today's conversation. Please stay with us.
documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thank you for still staying there with us on the program. If you're just joining this program, this is Business Daily on Trust Television. We're here to give you updates in the world of business, finance, and what's happening basically as it relates to business transactions in Nigeria and the global world. Like I mentioned earlier, our discussions on the program today will be focused on front row economic issues, burning issues, I must also mention at this point. But let's take a look at the situation as it relates to the new Naira notes in Kaduna. Take a listen.
It was a sigh of relief for most Nigerians as the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) added an additional 10 days for the collection of the old Naira notes by banks. But some of the customers started at different ATM points within the police alleged that the new Naira note are scarce because some individuals have hijacked them and want the CBN to take appropriate action against any bank that fails to comply with its directives.
Call on the federal government to do that is urgent now. They should make sure that the money, the new new design money should be available. And not only that, there's the mistake that I've seen. It's like the new Naira notes, that is the 100 Naira, 50 Naira, 10 Naira are not in circulation. So that's what is causing the problem.
So what is it with the government? No money, no fuel, life is horrible. True speaking, the extension date, 10th of February, we will still have problem.
Many people inside with this kind of problem again, and this is my last couple. I don't have anything. They drive my children for school because of school fees.
However, while some banks in Kaduna Metropolis have loaded their ATMs with their new notes, others are yet to comply fully. It took the intervention of the CBN for some of the banks to resume dispensing cash at their ATM.
Certainly, there will be appropriate penalties for banks that fail to dispense their money through the ATM, because that's the clear directive of management, and the banks all know it. You recall that we've gone to one of the banks where we noticed that they did not have any money in their vaults. But in the case of this bank, we discovered that the money was actually sitting in their vaults where the ATMs were not dispensing anything, and customers were loitering around.
The CBN has pledged to take decisive action against any commercial bank that fails to meet the guidelines issued to them to facilitate and ease banking transactions in Nigeria.
There you have the situation report from what's happening in Kaduna State. I still have my guest with me. He's Dr. Aliyu Ilyas, financial analyst. And you were stating about incidentally, you were in Kaduna recently.
Right.
And you were giving me like an on-site report of what happened in Kaduna. The big question we are all asking is, where is the Naira? Because there's a whole lot of racketeering. The CBN is wielding the big stick, and it's looking like the gains that yielded from the redesign is being reversed at this point.
Well, the fact remains that when there is no proper conceptualization of idea, policy some sorts follows it. If this idea is well conceived and stakeholders are engaged properly, such as the money agents, POS, point of sale, a lot of things need to put in place before you can bring such a policy. It's quite appalling, and I can tell you is what I experienced first. I was in Kaduna and I have to pay 2,700 Naira to get 15,000 Naira. If you might know that, what is the difference? And,
this is our legal tender.
And I have the money just for me to get my money. The apology there is that you cannot even collect money from the counter. That is the law now. So you have to go and queue at the ATM. And how much will ATM give you? It will give you maybe 10,000 Naira or 20,000 Naira. And the thing is, it's a sign to kill rural economy. A livestock seller, a small business owner, how do you want the person to operate? It becomes a serious problem, because if I want to buy, I want to sell, I must tell you this. Do you know that on my way back from Kaduna to Abuja, I had to approach the driver. Okay, driver, my money is 700 Naira from Abuja to Kaduna. Please, can you collect transfer? He has to he doesn't have choice as well. So it becomes a problem. And when he wants to buy fuel, what will he use? They want to collect cash from him. So it is not a well-conceived idea, in as much as it's not bad to change currency, but we must handle it in a very civilized manner. Perhaps the fact remains that we are driving at cashless. Do you know Nigeria is doing 1.8 to GDP? In terms of cashless to GDP, go to advanced countries, 5%, 10%. So in terms of cashless, we are doing very, very well. So I don't know what we are bringing. And if you think this will solve inflation, it is not, because our inflation problem is much more structural.
At this point, I want to ask what is the way forward, because we're sharing experiences just in the newsroom, and people are saying they are getting 15,000 naira from point of sale agents at 1,500.
My own is 2,700 yes.
To get new notes from these agents. What then can be done to see that there's some sort of respite for Nigerians with the situation currently at hand?
The first thing to be done is that CBN should allow banks to give people cash on counter. That's the first thing. Because if I can get cash on counter, some people will go for cash on counter, while some will go to point of sales, while some will go to ATM. It reduces the issue. But the fact is that new Naira seems not to be enough in circulation. Old Naira is not as well not available. So it's a serious problem. In fact, a gentleman just told me that he had to sleep in the office simply because he could not get cash to move down to his house. So he's being forced to be sleeping in the office until he get cash. Some people go to ATM as early as 1 a.m. They could not get cash. You know, it's becoming a serious problem. So CBN need to do something. In fact, we are lucky in this country that people take their time to calm down and there's no social unrest. You could see what people have been doing in the bank. Some women went ahead to really, share their nudity because of their pains. I've been listening to what their conversation is, that I want to pay my children's school fees, I want to buy food for them, I have money in the bank and I cannot collect it. It's a big apology that we need to do. So for me, they should open up all where people can get money, make sure people can get money directly, and there should be enough money in circulation. That is just the solution, because if it goes on like this, business will be crippled. I can tell you, since about 5 days, some people cannot do business again, and more so, the point of sales now has closed up. Because they don't even have cash. You said ATM should give them a particular amount, and there's no special. CBN said they have commissioned 30,000 money agent. Where are they? Where is the money? So they cannot even get the money to give people. They are also packed up. Businesses are packing up, and we want a better economy, not at this level.
I also want you to, just as I said during my opening, I want you to wear your hat as a customer experience expert. Now, I'm speaking with regards to the number of complaints we have seen in recent times, especially about the banking system and how it works. I know the CBN is trying on its part to ensure that there's a high level of accountability and sanity, basically, sanitize the banking system. There are videos of people complaining about monies leaving their accounts. They go to the banks to complain, and there is no clear-cut definition as to where the monies went or how the monies mysteriously, in quote now, disappeared from their accounts. How can that be addressed?
I think the CBN is romancing with the conventional banks, and that needs to be taken seriously. CBN is meant to monitor these people and really bring them to accountability. But it seems they are not, because how many people have they brought to book? That's the question. The reliable sources are telling us that there's a way people will come and still get those cash. People that has the money will get their cash in other way around. Why people that are queuing on the queue will not get the money? As a customer person, as a customer experience expert, I think ideally when there is service break, compensation follows and service recovery. But at this point, we are not even seeing them coming out to own up that there is something going wrong. And how many people do you want to even compensate at this point in time? I think Nigeria deserve more, because this is our regulatory body seem to be serving those banks compared to people. Because if people is the objective, you even talk about Naira swap, where have we seen the swap? Do you even need Naira swap where you have money agent, provide this money for agent will give it to people in the public? If it's enough in the public, I assure you, I think we should blame CBN more, because if CBN provide more cash, it will get to people no matter how racketeers want to take advantage. Because racketeers take advantage of things when they are not enough. But when there is proper competition and their availability, people will definitely not patronize the racketeers. So the thing is, I think the federal government, the president need to come into this, because this small thing could cause social unrest. Sure. Because if you look at other worlds, they cannot even bear this. People cannot feed at home. People cannot sleep. Transport does not function as it's supposed to function. So what is our well-being? Where is our well-being? Where is the protection? So I think we should be protected, and there should be urgent action by the federal government direct to the CBN, from CBN to banks, from banks to money agents. This thing works.
I still want you to speak to this issue of consumer complaints
around
probably debits, people getting debits and money is not coming into their accounts. I leave a certain amount of money in my account and I come back, I see that the money is short of so and so amounts. I know there's a CBD department in the Central Bank of Nigeria. What really can aggrieved customers do?
Well, the rules is that CBN said, don't come and complain to us. That's another thing. You complain to your banks, but when your banks don't maybe put an action for 5 or 8 days, then you can now escalate down to CBN. But it's quite funny that this process is even existing, because if you serve me well, how do I have to have such complaint? I had the same issue, because CBN also need to do more in terms of infrastructure. Yesterday, I need to book a flight, and when I booked this flight from Abuja, round trip, yes. I booked, I did not see reduction in my account, both on app and on SMS. So after like an hour, I decided to do that again. So when I initiated another account, do you know that I discovered that they withdrew both? Becoming a problem. And if it's a organized infrastructure, it would have alerted me, because it's the same flight, the same time, the same name, the same card. So it would have alerted me that you are trying to do a second. You understand? So that I think bank has that, and they will alert you that no, don't do this. So I think our major issue is becoming infrastructural problem. It is not enough to bring idea, in as much as we want innovation, but you think about infrastructure that could sustain that idea. Without infrastructure, please don't give us idea. Infrastructure should come first before you bring the innovation.
Finally, let's have your thoughts on the Afrigo card, the debit card scheme we saw launched by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We know it's supposed to promote financial inclusion, make payment system seamless in the country. Of course, increase competition with the Visa and MasterCard players we already have in that sector. Tell me what you think.
Well, in as much as we want to caution CBN when they do something that is very wrong, we also need to praise them when they bring something innovative. I think the idea of Afrigo is the best thing to happen to Nigeria, not only Nigeria, Africa, because that's the first one we will have in Africa. You will agree with me that Visa card, MasterCard have their own opportunity enough that everything you want to buy through that card, they will charge you in dollars. So this will bring serious competition and to help us to, navigate a lot of things. Then you can do your domestic buying using this card, and Africa can also tap into it, because we're supposed to be best economy in Africa. Not only best economy, we should take advantage that we have the population, we have the financial, we have the economic ability. So we should also take advantage of all this. So I think it's a welcome idea, and that is even in collaboration with NIPS, bank settlement. So I think it's a good idea. So I celebrate and appreciate them for that, and think we are waiting for it so that it will reduce the demand on those foreign cards, I would say. Because if you look at most countries that have population like Nigeria, India, Russia, Turkey, they also have their own card. So it's a welcome idea, and we say thank you to them in this.
Yes, but I also want to ask, in as much as we know it's a laudable move, do you envisage any downsides at all? Well,
the only downside we could look at is the fraud part of it, online challenges. Because, when you have all these MasterCard, Visa, they are well secure. There are people hardly break into it. So Nigeria should also make sure, CBN in particular, should create an infrastructure that will secure people's money on this card.
Thank you so much. Aliyu Ilyas, financial analyst. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
To share your thoughts. And that's where we draw the curtains on the program today. Thank you always for investing your time with us on the program. Don't forget you can catch up on all the updates on Trust TV's social media platforms, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Click the subscribe button. It's red, just like my jacket. Just click on the button and you will get all the information you need to know as news goes round in the polity. I am Christiana Amodu Otinya. Continue to stay safe and goodbye for now.